Perfect, Shannon. You're doing great. Why don't you go to the just for fun, go to the FlexGrid homepage one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to search from here. Why don't you say, I just want to search the employee records. So change that to the employee users. Hit submit. Scroll on down. Now you have tons of options. Do you want just a certain class status, a certain this or that? Like, you can really detail it out. Why don't you just say search all records? Just the completed ones? That's fine. That's fine. So only the ones that have been completed are Barney and Santi, okay? So like basically what you can do is you can literally detail that down, but once again you can see how, remember how there's like 40 plus fields in the FlexGrid? You're only seeing like just the little teeny ones that we used. So that's why we actually called it a FlexGrid tie-in. I loved how you actually said spreadsheet because that actually created a great little analogy there. So good stuff.
That's great.
One other thing, why don't you go back to the FlexGrid tie-in homepage? You can even just hit, great. Go ahead and click on that little graphic down below there. Okay, this little help file kind of shows you who the main players are, and it also kind of details out like what is it that the FlexGrid does and stuff, okay? And if you scroll down, this is a very helpful help file. It's kind of like, what is my possibilities? What's going on, and how does it work, and like all this kind of stuff. Are you guys familiar with like a, say like a pilot? They have a tail number on the back of their plane, okay? Well, if you have a pilot that comes into an airport, what if he's flying his buddy's plane, or this one's plane, or whatever? Like, basically what you could do is you can create the person as a customer, okay? Instead of calling them customers, you might call them pilots. Little corp-wide setting. And then say, all of a sudden you're like, oh, this particular pilot, he uses multiple hangars and he has multiple airplanes. Like, you can create this little relationship. So all of a sudden if you're like, they call in through the radio, hey, this is November 496 Victor, or whatever, you're like, you have no clue which pilot that is. And so you go, FlexGrid 496 Victor. You know, like, you just type in a little bit, go get it. Oh, that's actually so-and-so. Hey, how you doing? You know, like, or whatever. It's a reverse lookup in a way if you needed it.
You know, one of the things I talk about FlexGrid a lot is in the cultivation side. I know we developed a whole FlexGrid for our cultivation homepage, and basically it tracks, you know, your soil, your wet weight, your nutrients, your scheduling, your corrective, you know, for bugs or woody flu or whatever you have. It'd be awesome if you could.
Yeah. That's right down your alley, but basically that's what they do. Like Adilas doesn't have those fields by default. What's your wet weight and your dry weight and your trim weight and your what are your different states that you're in or whatever. But like basically what you do is they would create it into a system and actually and kind of modify it that way. So,
when I demo the site, I use that a lot.
Okay.
Because it really helps in, you know, your cultivation side. Basically what they're doing is developing kind of more.
Where do you actually demo that from?
Bob Marley.
Okay. Shannon. Yeah, Santiago, you want to kind of show
Come
us?
show us, yeah, I was going to say. He demos it, look.
Yeah. So basically, like, even what he's saying right there, it's a custom need that we don't have, but we basically kind of created this little virtual database that fits on top of whatever. So it's like, Adilas is super flexible, but if you need something more, you're going to want to look towards FlexGrid, because they're going to kind of allow you to do some stuff.
So obviously, you guys and Adilas developed a bunch of custom interfaces. This is how I talk about it, and you know my favorites, which is always good for your touch screen interface. And then we got our dispensary homepage, which has a custom queue, which is kind of cool. So you can clock people in, check them out, barcode scan their ID, and I was telling you about this earlier, is once they get in here, you can see if their product's expired. So it's automatically going to let you know that you can't sell to that patient. Which I'm going to do is, and then all the permission bases that we provide, you're able to kind of separate what people could do and what they could access, which is nice. So your storefront people could only access, you know, what you assign. Your cultivation or people in your warehouse are only able to access the cultivation homepage. So you kind of limit their ability.
I think that we're putting some of that information in the customer. So when we just bring the customer name up, then we know whether he's IDs current or not?
Yeah,
That's correct,
You
yes.
put that in the customer rather than in the flex grid, or you?
No.
Yep.
I'm just kind of just going there and showing you.
You know,
Yeah.
I just trying to,
Yeah, so we're kind of jumping off the flex grid real quick. I was just going to show you some of the different functionalities that were built for the MMJ. And here's kind of our whole cultivation homepage that we developed. I don't know if you've seen this. I'm pretty sure you have it available for you.
So these buttons are quick drill downs into underlying data.
Yeah, like bulk move, clock in, clock out. But what I was trying to mention is, as your employee, if I work in the warehouse, this is the only thing I can see every day. I can't see our classic homepage or the MMJ homepage or whatever interface that we built, because you only gave me these permissions, and I could only go in here and do exactly what I'm supposed to be doing on a day-to-day basis. Bulk move plants, check how many patients that we have tied to plants, plant type, so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's just that, the go-to-meeting stuff is right there where that normal scroll bar is there that you're looking for. So.
Yeah, so this is kind of cool. So say we got, 60 plants of this. If I go to edit, and then if we hit the flex grid tie-in, this is already kind of pre-built in here, which it gives us a chance to kind of start tracking, the script expiration date.
So check out what they use their custom fields.
Yeah, soil type, wet weight, dry weight, veg nutrient schedule, flower nutrient schedule, corrective nutrients, photo types, any notes that you want to put in there, if they had any mites or whatever, when you cut it down, what the waste was, because obviously you have to track your waste.
right, yeah,
So it gives you the chance, and then you could actually have another flex screen and say, hey, well, I gave my waste to, Colorado concentrates, or whoever you give it to produce your concentrates, hash oil, earwax, whatever you guys make.
So that's actually kind of a mixture of saying both custom fields, I need a waste weight or whatever, or a date, and then I'm also going to connect it out to where I actually said this thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's multiple pieces that you're actually kind of potentially tying together.
And it's kind of cool because you get a chance to track all this, because maybe you have a strain that didn't come out that great, sat on your shelf for a little while. You tweaked the recipe around, maybe you put on you gave it new nutrients, you let it stay in your bedroom for a little bit longer, who knows. But it came out a lot better, and you're happy with the end product. Now all you have to do is kind of go back in and follow your own recipe, Since you dialed it down, you tracked everything, now you know exactly what it's going to take to produce that same exact flower every single time. Instead of you going in there and just off of the top of your mind, you got master growers, and these guys think they know it all, but sometimes, they can mess up, or, they forget what they use, or somebody's helping them out. If you follow kind of this guideline, I guess you would say, you're producing the exact same product every single time. It really helps out.
One of the interesting things is as well, I know some people will use the flex grid, they'll hold it as a static data point inside of Adilas so it's searchable, and if they want to do any sort of math or calculations with it or anything like that, they will basically export this stuff to Excel, and then all of a sudden it's literally in a spreadsheet format where you have all your rows, all your columns, their name, and you just go to the bottom and you say auto sum, or drag drop, or like this divided by this, I want to get my math. So they don't actually do that inside of Atlas, they just collect the static data points in a way inside of Atlas, and then they will export it to Excel.
And when he's talking about that, this is just something I do. So I have over maybe 8,000 clients in my Atlas system. If I want to blast out a webinar invite, just like today, I would actually, kind of go to my export, my advanced search options, find what I'm looking for. If it's just email addresses and a specific date, time. If they're new clients, I don't want to send it to somebody that's not interested or unhappy talking to me. So I'm able to kind of check in. I'm going to show you real quick. I'm sorry, I'm getting off.
No, you're doing great. What he's talking about is he's just switching real quick to an export to Excel.
Yeah.
Versus, there's a number of pieces that can actually export to Excel.
Anything, basically, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So right here, I mean, here's a lot of, this is an advanced search option, so, and it gives you a bunch of different options of how you want to search. So I would go over here to my, what do they call them?
Oh, patients, yeah.
Okay, and then advanced, and then I could uncheck or check whatever I wanted to pull up in my Excel spreadsheet. If I just want to do a quick email blast out, I'm just going to click email, go down, and then also I want to do all, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
I would put, because I have mine
you would
separated.
kind of filter down your data, like depending on what you wanted to get.
And then we could do, patient start date. We could put from, 2012 or 10.
Probably need to put a slash to like 10-1, 13.
How about we go?
Okay,
12,
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
And then you'll have to put the other date, otherwise
Okay.
it won't actually do that. Like if it doesn't get both dates, it doesn't really do a date thing.
and what's today's date?
Just
23.
yep, 10/23.
And then we don't have to put the years.
You
On our
don't.
maps,
If
because
it is the current year, you don't have to put the year.
Yes. And then right here, we're going to change information to amount to Excel. And automatically we got a, and I can
Yep,
open,
either way, it's fine. Doesn't matter.
just open it real quick, and all of a sudden we have all the email addresses we collected. Now I'm going to send out a happy Halloween discount to every single person. Create my own.
So he just told it to have first name, email, and then you left a couple other ones that were
Yeah,
selected. But like
I could
you
deselect
can
anything.
choose which pieces of the puzzle you want to. Once it's in Excel, you can technically do whatever you want. If you want to add your own color coding, you want to font size, you can tweak it around, whatever. Like basically, it's a way to get at the raw data.
And then,
Export it to
copy, paste, and then paste that into your email field, and, you just blast it out, 500 emails to someone. It works, it's great. And this is something I like to show a lot of people, because a lot of the MMJ side loves to be able to connect with their patients. You gather their information for a reason to be able to send them out discounts. You spend a lot of money putting your ads into Westward. This is another
This is, you're not looking for new, this is, something for your existing customer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to get them in the door, again, maybe they came yesterday, come back tomorrow, Obviously, it's just boosting revenue. Or if you want to buy some leads, there's always an option to blast it out that way. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's, but with recreational, we cannot retain the data.
Oh, I know.
So, again, it's like,
You're
we're
not-
thinking we're getting a second revenue source, but it's different enough that we have 3 businesses, so we're gonna have 6 categories. We can treat 3 alike and 3 alike, but we can't treat all 6 alike. So this is,
And separate, so you have 3 stores, are you gonna make just one recreational, or are you gonna have them all?
it's gonna be 2.
And you're gonna keep one?
So we're gonna have medicinal retail in all 3 shops.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna build a wall like they're asking for? That's horrible.
And the problem right now is that they haven't told us yet whether we can have 1 entrance and then 2 doors, or whether it's completely
Two
separate.
levels, they haven't said that yet. And then another cool thing, I don't know if you know anything about this, Adilas is kind of one of the only companies out there that's actually being able to track your money. Because right now, what AMMD is looking for is for you to give them a list of your patients, your payments, expiration dates, whatever reports, the monthly and weekly reports that they require, which we also have built into the system. But we also are right now one of the only things that's tracking money too, because it is an accounting system. So if all money coming in and all money going out, kind of gets us the upper hand that, we've thought of this long before, nobody really cared about it. Now all of a sudden the government says, we're going to start monitoring, the money coming in and going out for the recreational side. Now you don't have to go out there and search for other system.
Yeah, I know we've been using it for upwards of 3 years, but I'm not sure how good the database is. And I couldn't really go check it because I wasn't familiar enough with it to be able to use it.
Well, you're gonna have some fun this weekend, aren't you?
Yeah.
Once you learn how to search some of the pieces, you can really get some great
Yeah.
data.
And so, you know, the person that's been using it is a user, but she's not really a trainer. And so the timing of hitting this class would seem like much more appropriate than trying to, you know, she's currently behind, and so if she spends a day training you, then she's even, you know,
Oh, yeah. And then you're gonna be one.
so, you know, that's
Oh, we're gonna have another one next month.
kind of
Also.
a catch-22. So,
We keep doing more and more training, and what we try to do is just try to help people learn, and like that's our goal, is to help you guys learn. Like, we've played in this playground long enough. It's like driving the streets of Denver. You guys live here, and you're like all over the place. I'm from out of town. I know main veins, and I know.
This guy gets money. He's like, I don't want to go with you. It's just right the block.
Yeah.
No, from my office, because my office is right down.
Well,
the office.
like literally, like think of how complicated the system of Denver is, okay? So we were way over by Cherry Creek Reservoir, okay? We come out, we hit, you know, eventually Parker Road, we connect to 225, we hit 25, we go all the way up to hit 6th, go all the way to hit Sheridan, come around, wrap around, come down Sheridan, go all the way to Alameda, and then turn, okay? Like, if somebody doesn't know where that's at,
You guys remember my old office.
you're talking a foreign language, okay? You're literally talking a foreign language. But once you know Denver, you're like, oh, totally, man, I've got that. So when you talk Adilas, it's the same basic thing. Like imagine something like this. Hey, I need you to go to the invoice homepage. You'd be like, sweet, gotcha. You know, like you just know exactly where to go. Oh, that invoice needs to be connected to this expense receipt. Oh, that probably means a piece of flex script that's going to, you know, you automatically start understanding some of this lingo and jive. It's very similar to a roadmap.
Yeah. And I always tell everybody, when I started, Steve and Kelly came in and told me, you know, I kind of pushed them away a couple of times. They came in and started talking my lingo. It was different. My situation was different than what my wife was using. Hers was at MJ, mine's in the sales office. Came in and talked about patients, this patient staff, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. They came in, changed the verbiage, said it was customizable to what I needed it for. I bought it, didn't use it for a couple months, and decided I needed to spend some time into it. And when I started drilling into it, it just knocked my socks off. There were so many things that it did that I was doing manually. Payroll, you know.
Well, Roxanne has been working for Carmen, so I have a sense that Roxanne has at least kind of been spearheading the ship.
Oh, Roxanne is awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have Roxanne do some teaching tomorrow as well, but I think you'll really enjoy her.
Yeah, and so she's
Very approachable, very
she helped
approachable.
set it up, and
Yeah.
I was just kind of driving me.
The nice thing about Roxanne is she's been with the MMED. She does accounting and bookkeeping. She does customization and optimization and setup. So, I mean, if you would ask for anybody else that knows more about the system, it's more great.
Yeah, no, so I met her this morning.
Yeah.
And, but
It's nice to have somebody like that can hold your hand as well.
Yeah.
if you
yeah,
need
well,
to.
at
Yeah.
least to know that the data has been more than likely put in, right? So that we can,
Yeah.
as, I mean, my owner is truly trying to do everything by the book. I mean, we're not trying to cut any corners, we're not trying to hide anything such that, I mean, we were invited to be one of the first 5 companies to apply for recreation. So, I mean, and that's because the last 3 years we've done everything right.
And Roxanne, you go to the shop to do your inspections or anything?
I don't know.
Yes, you probably did.
But anyway, I'm just saying, I mean, the goal has been, you know, I mean, we've kind of described it as we're on the edge of prohibition.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was, you know, I mean, you can imagine back in Chicago when it was all illegal.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was having private clubs and everything else to try to drink, and you know, obviously, you know, the whole Al Capone movie and everything was shortly thereafter. Prohibition was, you know, went away. Everybody, you know, liquor stores suddenly popped up, and they were trying to be regulated as to, you know, what you could sell to and who you couldn't. And so, you know, in our case, you know, as long as if you're medical, you got a medical card, you can be 18, or you can come in as your parents and get it. Or if you're going to be recreational, you have to be 21, but we can't record any information because we don't want a database on recreation. We just want a database on medical. And it's,
Now, it's not illegal to to have them be part of a kind of what you would call it a list. Which I think.
But we can't create a customer and put their customer information in.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, if you do kind of an SMS blast, I used to do all the daily deals. Maybe you put the QR code, scan it real quick, and then you're not really gathering the information. The system is actually gathering just their phone number and name, and then you're able to just do an SMS blast that way. So that,
Can I show you guys something real quick?
yeah.
So check this out. When Adilas creates an invoice, okay, ideally it's tied to a customer. If you ever want to do any sort of accounts receivable, okay, you want to have a customer. But if you just want a quick little counter sale, we allow it to virtually go like this. A customer comes in, okay, through a shopping cart, they create an invoice, but there's no physical tie made back to this. So similar to what you're doing. So we can physically make the tie, or we can physically not make the tie. So it's just literally a difference of a switch, okay? So like, we don't necessarily have to, if you're saying, oh, I can't record data on this piece, it's no problem. You can actually do the wholesale, even from the same inventories or whatever, depending on what you have.
Well, we want to create an invoice for the sale, so we know that the numbers are right.
Correct,
and
correct.
we've got sales taxes calculated. It's just that it's just a generic customer.
Can I show you how it works real quick? We'll actually do it. Watch this, okay? So in here, Santiago, what's one of the patient's names?
Fred Flintstone.
Okay,
And I would love for you to kind of show discount and rewards.
okay.
Because that's a connection with that.
So right here, Fred Flintstone, watch this. If I say new cart, I physically am tying Fred's information to the cart, okay? And let's say right here I wanted to go, what do I have under my white things, okay? And say I come down here and I got 23 of this. I'm just kind of faking some numbers,
Now
okay?
you're going to go negative.
Am I going to go negative on that one?
Yeah.
Right back.
So we have 8 bands.
It looks like I,
go to the very last chart.
880.
yeah.
You have a lot.
So that right there that's how much. That's a quantity according to the system. That's why I put a number in there on that one. It's all good.
Oh, okay. No, I was looking at the opposite.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's actually your price per, and this is how many that you technically have. This is just a play site. People have just been playing in here, whatever. So if I go back to my cart, I technically already have an item in here. If I hit checkout, say I physically got some money on this, so say I got 250 bucks, I'm going to pay cash, and I'll just say create the invoice. Change due, 2673, done, okay? This one physically is tied right here to Fred's information.
With their MMR number also.
With their MMR number, if they happen to have it, and the actual invoice number, okay? Here's how you make a generic one. Watch this. We'll go like this. New. And now, watch this. So it's a new one, but I currently don't have any patients assigned at all. I'll do the exact same thing. White. We'll go grab one that has a quantity on it. How about this one right here? We'll go, this one have 10. Okay? And we'll say add it. So it comes through, there's no patients assigned. Here's my still total, $125. Check out. This person also paid cash as well. Paid exactly the same amount they needed to. Create the invoice. Now check this out. It currently says this, counter sale. Okay? It's not technically even tied to any customer at all, but I have full documentation of exactly what went out, the cost, the total, the
Yeah,
taxes.
because that's what we have,
everything.
and we want to track the inventory system that it came out of retail versus coming out of medical.
Correct, correct. And so depending on how you end up situating it, you may end up having to do internal transfers as well. You might have to be like, I have it here, but I need to move it to here because they need it over here on this side of the fence or whatever. Those are called transfers.
We're still kind of trying to do the dance, but at least this would allow us to relieve the inventory problem.
Correct,
And then also,
correct.
one more thing, Brandon, so what you're going to be able to do, so say you build this wall, right? This is no retail. You're going to be able to give your retail employees permissions just to log into this location as a retail. Your medicinal employees can only log in to Atlas using the retail side. So you're going to keep inventory on both sides, and again, you're going to do an internal transfer from, say, your grow, but Again, we don't know where that's going to come from.
I was kind of hoping we could have one inventory account and have both of them.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
Different, two revenues, but it's still the same inventory.
Sure.
That we have a retail code or a,
I think it
What
is
you
so,
would probably do is you'd probably actually sell it through a different location.
but
so
it's
like-
all under one department.
Oh, yeah.
One
So
department,
don't even think of
locations.
location, like, here's a huge white spot like this, okay? Let's just talk locations for a second. Say you have a building, okay? And say that half of it had to be for one thing and half of it had to be another. Check this out. You could easily say this is location R for retail and this is location M for medical or whatever you needed to do. Even though they physically share the exact same location, you're almost just subdividing it. What it makes it nice for is all of a sudden if you wanted to see what's my retail for my R side, I could just hit one little flag and say flip the location to retail. Hey, here's what I made in retail today. Oh, what did I do in medical today? Flip one little tag to medical, and they could technically be pulling from a.
because I want to track that daily, but I still only want to have, I mean, but see, my inventory is going to be separate too, though, because we're going to pre-package for retail and we're going to store away.
Well, so think of your inventory as your grow, right? So your grow, you're going to order product for one or the other store. So you're going to say, or you could do an internal PO and say, I want to pull product from the grow for retail only.
But I think though that we're actually going to have
Two grows?
I mean, because we want everything pre-packaged.
Yeah.
On the recreational side, so that you just come in
And just buy it.
you just pull them off and scan them.
Barcode and send them out the door.
Well, the reason why I kind of mentioned this is my wife pre-packages all this stuff, especially for their like Saturday and Wednesday sales. But a lot of times once that's gone, it's gone. So you have that inventory pulled into the store, check into the store, it's ready, it's got a sale tag attached to it, and all of a sudden, once it's gone, it's gone. And now she's going to have to overload product from the store, have delivery in the morning. But I know that they're going medicinal in retail with one store right at Budman, and they're building walls. So the thing is, they're trying to figure out is, do we have to have separate warehouses? Is this product going to be just retail because each plant is assigned to a patient
And the medical side.
on
So,
the medical side?
Well, one of the fun things with Adilas, and I realize this discussion is kind of very one-sided for medical marijuana.
Yes.
But here's one of the things that's kind of interesting, okay? Because we allow you to kind of virtually build your world, you could basically say, do I want to stack this model depth-wise, doing locations, or do I want to stack retail world, medical world, and completely play separately? It doesn't, like, how do you want to stack this model? Is it separate worlds, or is it the same world, and then we're just subdividing into location and permissions and stuff like that? How are you playing exactly? So once again, it kind of gets into this virtual world building in a way, like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
currently, obviously, it's already set up,
Mm-hmm.
and now we got to come back and see with the second revenue source, what other changes do we have to make and what commitments, as we already put in the system, that, allows us to make the split. We've got less than 60 days to really, get it figured out.
Yeah.
Sure. I realize there's a
And the
crunch
only
time.
reason I'm asking is, having this negotiation, because both of us are going to be, elbows deep into trying to figure this out with other clients. Also. It's a great time to kind of bring it up and, maybe get some insight on how we do it. But also, is, we've been doing this a long time for, say, you got your edibles and mix, then you got your storefront, you got your grow, but they're all under different EIN or tax ID numbers. Instead of trying to combine them all and sort it out later, let's separate them into worlds. This way, all the money coming in from this mixed location is going into, and it's being tracked on that side. And then
Well, we have 3 locations and 3 corporations.
Yeah.
So each location has its own entity.
So, and then obviously
It's almost like this: 1 world, 2 world, 3
and
world.
it's got its own tax brackets on
So-
each
so
location.
Each tax bracket, each tax ID is now going to have 2 revenue sources.
Okay.
It's going to have,
So check this out: 3 worlds with at least 2 locations under each world. How many pancakes do you want on your plate? okay? So you have 1 world, 2 world, 3 worlds, and then how many locations? Medical, retail, medical, retail, medical, retail. That's the locations that you would have stacked underneath those different little worlds. We just barely got done talking about the FlexGrid tie-ins and how you can kind of connect all of these different little pieces together. Can I tell you a vision of where we want to go with it? An application FlexGrid. So instead of playing on the player level, way out here where we're connecting these different little pieces together, what if you went like this? And you created application FlexGrid. Oh, I've got 4 fields, and this one needs to suck them in, so we're playing from world to world instead of player to player. Okay? Literally, here's the group level. This is this. Invoices, customers, clothes, parts, vendors, all these different little things. What if you went here and actually allowed things to connect through an application FlexGrid? Like, sweet, got it. Okay, like that's just some vision, but just so you can kind of see.
Is that on
like
your tick list?
It is on our tick list, absolutely, and it's we're actually, instead of just calling it FlexGrid tie-ins, it's probably going to be called application FlexGrid. It literally is world to world or business to business commerce type stuff, even to the point where it's like this. Say for instance, I'm going to erase just a couple of these little pieces for just a minute. Watch this. Let's say that this is your vendor, and these are your retail outlets, okay? R and R, different ones. So what if the vendor had one product, and this guy, they wanted to call it this, and this one wanted to call it this, but one vendor through application FlexGrid could potentially sell his product and be able to automatically send it or upload it to these different ones. Or this one could be like, hey, I want this product. Oh, cool, this is what we call it. This is what you call it. Cool, let's create the match. Like business to business commerce type stuff.
But we actually have 3 separate rows, obviously, as well. And it's a.
So another piece of the puzzle right now, because they're separate worlds, there's technically almost like this little magic line between them, because you can't really jump from world to world to world. Okay. Other than a user could potentially be connected to different worlds. Okay. So one user could be connected to the different worlds, but technically this world can't do transactions with this world right yet.
And so, but we're trying to use the same symbols. We're trying to have the same quality. Such that, it's kind of like when you go to McDonald's. The Big Mac tastes the same in all 3.
But it's franchised out, kind of as separate. I don't make this McDonald's, and you own the other one.
Yeah, but again, the quality, we're not trying to be the Cadillac, and we definitely aren't trying to be the Chevy. We're trying to be that intermediate SUV, but have the same quality growing in 3 different locations.
This Sierra.
Yeah, but right now, I could, and because I'm such a rookie, I don't know that if I ran out of something, if we could actually buy it from our sister and sell it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, sure you can. Yeah,
and so that we can, because
there really doesn't have to be any money transferred. It could be a 0 balance. So you can just say, bring it over. I'm going to invoice you for it from Mile High. And then
you suck it in through a PO.
Internal PO. And it's all going to go into, essentially one.
At the end of the day, we're going to have,
So one of the things that's going to be coming as well is you've heard us talk about the thing called the API.
Right.
Okay, so currently we actually use, the API is technically called an application programming interface. We use it internally inside of the world automatically. We already use the API. What the API actually could potentially do for future things is exactly what you're talking about. Entity A, B, and C could potentially have joint financials through an API, okay? Currently, we use it inside like this. We use an internal API, and it only deals with the world, basically. Well, basically, the Adilas world, but we're not connecting world to world. When we open up the API, you could technically say, I need a group report. What do I have under my thing called White Widow? Okay? All 3 of them could technically report through the API back to a single reporting type system. basically you can build your world as big as you want, okay? But what we need to do is currently our API, it's internal. It's very well documented. We use it over and over again. That is the system, okay? We currently are trying to get this exposed to outside world so that you could basically have a programmer come in and say, oh, cool, this is the world that I'm dealing with. Here's all my different little functions. Which ones do I need? Almost virtually shopping for the miniature pieces of code to put the thing together, okay? That's kind of what an API kind of does, okay? But what you're doing and what you're trying to do needs to go to this level in order to really make it work well, okay? Because what you need is you literally need one world that has whatever details you needed to whatever level, okay? Then your other world needs to have tons of details to that level, but then you're trying to share. You're actually trying to say, I need to almost create my own universe instead of just my own world. That's kind of what this API would allow you to do to get like standard financials over corporations. Because currently, Adilas just kind of does its financials within those walls of that world, if that makes sense. So we kind of need to just expand that so that it can be, but I think that the potential is there as far as to do that and how to do it and stuff. So anyway, I'm excited to see where it goes. I know you guys are like, this has got to be done in like 60 days. Well, I'm hoping, we have tables built right now. We're hoping to have it documented and out there. But I guarantee you, this is not a solution that's going to happen in 60 days.
Oh, yeah, no, and I think that, it's just, you're almost spinning in a circle trying to figure out where to jump off and get started. What needs to be accomplished between now and January 1st.
Correct. What I would recommend that you do is tighten up your individual little worlds and just know that you're going to be able to connect them in the future. And I don't really even think it's that far out, but that's what I would kind of recommend.
Because the licenses have been granted to each of the entities. It's not like we can just suddenly roll them all into one entity and just have two divisions, medical and recreational. But it's obviously going to be a challenge that's going to be fun to take on and go.
Well, if I'm going to take on a challenge like that, I'm going to want a tool like Adilas that says, how am I playing? Am I playing worlds, locations, individuals, groups? Where's my data at? I'm going to run this stuff over time. If I need to connect it, if I need to export it, I'm going to want a tool like Adilas. Personally. But.
Yeah, and obviously, we've had it thing for 2 to 3 years. So, it's
Sure. Yep. I think it's fun, and I think it's fun to kind of hear some of your challenges. And we don't try to brand ourselves as a specific, we follow a specific genre. Like you already saw today, we were doing construction projects, and we're doing nurseries, and doing this and this and this, all sorts of different things, trailer dealerships. But we have business tools, and I will say this openly, very, very grateful. The medical marijuana industry has helped Adilas grow because they were willing to take a chance on what we had to offer to their system. So I actually personally am very grateful for them. Like, there are parts in the system that existed but have been incredibly enhanced because of the need of this particular entity, okay? You have members and non-members and state regulations and federal regulations, and like it just pushes things to different levels when you start getting somebody pressing your thumb on you like that. So it has helped in a lot of different ways of the puzzle. Awesome.